And we are live, and the inner sanctum has been called to order. Welcome, everyone, back to the Sanctum Sanctorum. I'm your illustrious host, Widow's Son. With me is one of my awesome co hosts, Dr. Cyrus Oblivion. Wanderer will not be with us today. He reached out to me just a little bit ago and told me he wasn't going to make it. So, um, it happens. So it's just going to be me and Doc. What's up, Bonk? Bonk is here. Bonk, I may send you the link here in just a little while. You could
Yeah,
pop
let's
in
bring
with
Bonk
a.
on.
Yeah, okay. Well, Bonk, I'm going to go ahead and while we're kind of shilling and getting everything kind of rolling, I'll go ahead and send you the link. So we are going to just kind of shoot the proverbial shit today, as it were. Um, maybe at least an hour today, because today is also the uh, annual Ole Miss versus Alabama football game, and so I will be keeping up with that periodically throughout the show. And I do want to at least get a chance to listen to some of it today. And you've all heard of me speak of my father quite a bit on the show, and he too was a big Ole Miss fan like myself. So all I want to say real quick is I just want to say hotty toddy, and I hope my boys from Oxford will win today for my dad. So uh, it's gonna be an exciting one. I'm looking forward to it. Oh, and Bonk says he's at work right now. He said possibly later. Okay. And Sterno is here. Welcome. So if you haven't already, everyone, go ahead and like the stream. It really helps us out. Hit that subscribe button, get the notification bell on, and also as always, we'll show a little bit of love to my great and honorable gentleman and a scholar, as I always call him, YouTube mentor, Sir Hatman. If you don't subscribe to this gentleman, please do. His main channel, Hatman, and his other channel, Sir Hatman. Go and show him some love. Tell him I sent you, and always much love and respect to my YouTube mentor, and also to the Queen, Mother Terra. Much love to you as well. Um, so yeah, it it's gonna be an interesting one today. It hasn't been just me and Doc in quite a while. And real quick, just kind of before we get rolling and everything right now, I want to say that scheduling for the show production and everything, or when we're going to actually go live and whatnot, is going to be changing periodically due to some scheduling things going on at my job. Um, I so every other week we may have a different day, and we will have to work everything out. Um, but once again, once I speak with everyone and we get that settled, I will let you know in the Discord. And do appreciate everybody being patient with us as we kind of get this figured out. Also, and Splicer will not be here today. Today is him or Splicer and his girlfriend's 1 year anniversary. So we wish them happy anniversary, congratulations, and much love from us here on the show. Doc, long time no talk, brother. We usually video chat at least a couple of times a week.
Oh yeah,
But we hadn't really talked that much because you've been hibernating on a schedule now apparently,
yeah,
and
yeah.
it's fucking with my universe because I got used to talking to you late at night. How you been?
Pretty good. I've been so like the bad news I received last weekend. I'm not gonna go into details on air,
Yeah.
but it caused me to go 36 hours without sleep, and so Sunday night I crashed on my couch at 8:30. Before I crashed, I looked at myself in the mirror and I was like, man, I look like Charlie Sheen on a good day. Or like how he looked in, I can't remember, was it 13, 16 Candles or Breakfast Club, or one where he
Oh, wait a minute. No, where he made the cameo in the movie?
yeah,
Oh no, you're talking about Ferris Bueller's Day Off.
Ferris Bueller's Day Off. He stayed up for like 2 days to film that scene, so it would look like
Yeah, and we all know how that was possible.
Yeah. Well, no, he I think that was before he had his drug problems, and
No,
he
I no, I think that may have had to have been in the beginning stages of the coke. I really, really do.
so yeah, he stayed up 2 days, and I looked at myself in the mirror. I was like, man, I was headed home from the bar after a very busy Sunday last week, and
My
went to
rec
the bar
my
for.
record's about four and a half.
I went to the bar for a drink, and then came back. And on the way back, I got in my car and I looked in the mirror. I was like, there is no way if I get pulled over, a cop is going to believe I haven't done any drugs, or he's going to. There's no way he's going to believe I've never done a drug. Because you know me. I've always been like clean and sober.
Well, right. I mean, I'm just saying you could tell him, yeah, I just tell him like you popped 3 Tylenol PM before you decided to drive.
Yeah. Well, I tell him I would have honestly told him the truth. So hey, here's the news that I found
Yeah,
out.
you would have told him the truth, but do you really think that he would have believed you?
Yes, he would have, because for one, my record, but also two, it's a pretty rough story, and he would have gone, "Damn, that sucks, dude. I'm sorry."
Pro- dude, depending on the cop.
Most of the cops here in Nashville are like
Well,
that.
no, right, I get that, but what I'm saying is, it really okay. Let's go back. Let's you and I not necessarily time travel, but let's travel location wise. Let's travel back to our where we are from. Uh, Driving anywhere and getting pulled over. Where Doc and I are from, it depends on the officer. If you get a nice officer and you're respectful, um, sometimes they'll cut you a break depending on the situation. But then you get those, especially the ones that work the night shift and overnight, they're not quite as lenient.
I'm going to
Um,
disagree with that. Like the story, the situation that I was dealing with is one that would have made even the most hardened cop go, "Dude, I'm sorry,
well,
man. We're
well
gonna
now I'm well
we're gonna
now I'm
let you
not going.
go home."
Well now I'm not going to sit here and say, back where you and I are from, that I haven't had some good run-ins with cops that work the night patrol. A little story. A person that you and I went to high school with um, came came an officer in town, and I was. This is when I was working at the call center, and I was leaving work and going home, and I get out on the main street or the main road to go and get on the highway, and the highway patrol and the police department have a huge roadblock going. They were looking for somebody, and I pull up, and that friend of mine and yours from I'll type his name in the private chat, um, so you can know who I'm talking about here.
All right.
Do
Okay.
you remember him?
I do.
He he's a good guy. He's a really good guy. And I come pulling up, and he looks down, and it's me driving, and I go to hand it, and we just kind of talk for just a minute, and I go to hand him my license, and he's like, "Your money's no good here. Go go on and get home and have a good night." And I'm like, "All right, man." Um, but I'm not going to say that I haven't had good run-ins with officers at night, but a majority of the time, um, a lot of them are just going to be like, you know what, fuck this. You're getting the ticket no matter what it is. So, um, I mean, I'm sure that cops aren't all the same everywhere you go. I mean, I'm sure. Well, let me rephrase. I would like to say that I would like to be sure. Definitely. Um, so the cops may be a little bit different, versus back in Mississippi where we're from or where I live. You know.
Yeah, they here the cops are pretty laid back for the most part. If you're not doing anything to cause them trouble, they really don't care. They really don't care like a lot because there's already a shortage of cops here.
Yeah.
So they have so much crap they have to deal with.
Well, that's interesting to hear that they're shorthanded, because I mean that's like a major metropolitan city.
Dude, they've been shorthanded even before the George Floyd protests.
Well, I mean, I just find that strange to hear. I mean, I understand that departments can be underfunded and understaffed and all that, but for a place like that, let's look at a city like Memphis. Now, they have to be shorthanded.
Dude, they have a shortage. They have a huge shortage in Memphis.
City Council of course they do.
Over their cops.
Well, we also have to understand that there's a lot more white collar crime in Memphis than there is, like, where we're from.
Yeah, but I mean, that's going to be true no matter how much bigger the city is from where we're from.
Right, I get that, but at the same time, if you look at a city like Memphis and know right away that their police department is shorthanded and underfunded,
but because they're shorthanded and underfunded, Memphis is still one of the most violent cities in the U.S.
Oh yeah, at one point they were considered the murder capital of America. And that's going up against cities like Detroit and Chicago and fucking LA and New York and all of that. I mean, that's going up against those places. I mean, for Memphis to knock Detroit out of the number one spot it says a lot. What are you doing, man?
I'm looking this up. Most dangerous cities in the U.S. Memphis. See, Memphis is now number 2. You'll never guess who number 1 is.
What state is it in?
You will not even guess the state it's in.
Well, that's why I'm telling you that's why I'm asking you what state it's in.
Okay, Alaska.
Anchorage.
Yeah.
I do believe I've heard that recently. There's a channel on here called The World According to Briggs. And if you haven't watched that, I think you'd find it interesting. It's a lot of countdowns and stuff of, the top 10 most conservative cities or states in the country, or what have you. And it's really interesting. He actually brings up a lot of facts, and he actually checks the numbers and all of that. Made quite a few interesting videos about our neck of the woods. So definitely go and check that out. The World According to Briggs.
Okay.
BRIG or BRIGGS. It is. It's really an interesting channel. But I mean that's definitely strange to hear. A state like Alaska, but I mean at the same time it's kind of not, because I mean look where it's situated, and it's dark 6 months out of the year, and all of that. But
go outside when it's dark that much.
Do what?
Who'd want to go outside when it's dark that much?
Well, no, I mean the city has to function exactly the same way it would, when it's light 6 months out of the year.
Yeah, but if it's optional for you to go outside, why would you?
Well, I mean that's true as well. But yeah, but I mean going back to a city like Memphis. I mean, you and I, between the two of us, I mean we've been to Memphis quite a few times. I mean, I have, mostly going up there for gigs, like at the New Daisy over on Bill Street, or the High Tone, or Minglewood Hall, or places like that. Because Memphis was really the only reasonable drive from where we're from, to go and catch a metal show. I mean, other than that, you'd have to come to Birmingham, or you'd have to drive 5 hours and go to Atlanta. Um, which, I mean, a trip to Atlanta is not. I mean, it sucks once you get into the city because, I mean, you've got the interstates, and then downtown Atlanta is nothing but a giant one-way street. So it's definitely a little irritating. Um, but Memphis now, and and I'm sure this is true, really in any major city, but Memphis is one of those places that if you take a wrong turn, you're going to end up somewhere you don't need to be.
Oh yeah, dude. I had someone. I was supposed to pick up a friend who was living there, and I made a wrong turn and went down the wrong street. He was like, so I called him trying to find where he is, and he said, "Dude, where are you?" And I called out the street name, and he goes, "Dude, get out of there now! Cops don't even go down that street."
Try ending up at the corner of Shelby Drive and Mill Branch at about 2 o'clock in the morning on a Saturday. I was now normally when I go to Memphis, I always have Danny with me because he's from there. He knows the city like the back of his hand. Well, I went up to see Down. This is when they were on tour, and lo and behold, they finally came to Memphis. And of course, I had to be there. And so I'm going to drive up to Memphis by myself. Well, anyway, I get into Memphis the way he and I always get into the city because we don't just, go straight through and get on, was it Lamar?
Yeah.
We would always go around through like Olive Branch or somewhere like that. But I was trying to apparently my directions were taking me down by the river, and I went the wrong way. And so I had to find where I was going. So I get off the interstate. I find a gas station. There just happened to be a cop there. And I told him I'm just trying to get to Bill Street. And lo and behold, I was 4 red lights and a right turn away from Bill Street where I had gotten off the interstate. Don't ask me how I did it because I have no clue.
Yeah, the worst, to me, the most dangerous area coming into and out of it. Once I found another way around, and I never went the old way I'd gone again, but where Highway 78 enters Memphis.
Yeah, you're talking where it drops you right onto Lamar Avenue.
Yeah, you get all those stoplights.
Yeah, ton of stop and start traffic. Oh my God. If you're going to go to Memphis, make sure your brakes and your car is in perfect working order, because once you get into Memphis, like from the highway and it literally turns into a main road in a major city, there's a ton of stop and start traffic. Now, the way we would go in is we would go through Germantown.
Oh yeah, I go through like if I were going back from where we came from, there's a road called Hacks Cross Road.
Yeah, that's where I'm talking about. Get off there and just keep going straight. It drops you right into Germantown.
Yeah, that's
the easiest way, because then you can get right onto I-240 and you can be around the downtown and midtown area in about 20-25 minutes maybe.
Yeah. Well, I have a friend. He was a cop in Memphis, and he told me the reason why he stopped is he told his wife. He said, they can cut our pay. He said that sucks, but I'm fine with that. But he said the moment they touch the pension, he said I'm out, because he said I got to know if something happens to me, you and the kids are going to be taken care of.
Right.
And when they cut his pension, that's when he found work elsewhere.
Right. I mean, if they cut pension payments, the best thing that you can do is probably go ahead and retire.
Well, here's the thing that was so stupid, though. They totally cut the pension entirely. and they cut the pension and then turned around because it says for budgetary reasons. They turned around and then gave pay raises to all the city council members.
Well, a lot of things in Memphis are underfunded, and I'm sure like a lot of the politicians are certainly not part of that group. I mean, I mean, and see, I feel bad for cities like Memphis. I really do. Because, I mean,
So there, you're cutting out, dude.
say again?
Oh, you're cutting out a little bit.
I know, I was, had a coughing fit.
Gotcha.
Um, I feel bad for cities like Memphis. I really do. Because when you look at it, infrastructure is suffering. Um, Schools, in inner city schools, same way. The police department, everything like that. I mean, it's really bad. I can't remember the name of the channel, but um, it's videos of a guy with a dash cam, and he's just literally driving through these neighborhoods in major cities. Like I've watched pretty much all of the ones he did, or whoever this person is, um, driving through the dangerous parts of Memphis during the day, of course, and just showing what they look like. And man, it's heartbreaking. It really is. Um, but you know, and of course, you know they're going to keep the downtown and kind of the midtown areas nice and shiny for the tourist trade because I mean you've got Graceland um, and Sun Records in Memphis, so they have to keep all of that nice and shiny. Um, which actually someone was just telling me recently that apparently the area around where Graceland is pretty dangerous.
Oh yeah, yeah, it is.
And that's kind of shocking to hear, to be honest with you. Because like that's their biggest draw to the city. So to hear like that particular area is dangerous. It does. It's really shocking to me. So you were saying Anchorage was first. What are the stats on Memphis right now, according to what you were looking at?
Let's see. Well, it's just saying violent crime per 1,000. Memphis has 11.07. National average is 3.7.
And it has an 11.
Yeah, so it is nearly 3 times the national average.
National average. Oh. And how many? And what's its population right now?
Let's see. Memphis. Its current population is 633,885.
Oh, wow. Well, you know, like I was saying, it. So what? I mean, what? So for Nashville, I was trying to get my words together. What? I mean, you live there. I mean, well, you live out in the burbs now, don't you?
Yeah, I do.
But you were actually living in the city at one point.
I was.
Um, well, kind of share with us, like, you know, what I mean. What of course, I mean the subject matter we've been talking about, like danger, how dangerous and everything it is. Like what's your experience with it?
So Nashville is considered a dangerous city too. Um, Apparently, let's see, crime rates and statistics. Let's see. Crime index 3. So it's a dangerous city apparently. Crime rate is 11.10. That's still over 1,000. Yeah, median national average, national median is 4. Tennessee is 5.95, and Nashville is 11.1. But I wonder how much of that are the residents coming in versus a bunch of drunk tourists, because we get those all in our downtown Broadway area, and there is a tourist on the Broadway area who was just attacked by 4 dudes recently. They just beat the crap out of him and put him in the hospital. Like, he was put in ICU because of it.
Oh my God.
Yeah, and this is on Broadway, and you know, it's, and the locals here, we hate Broadway, we hate the tourist area, but none of us want anything happening to a tourist like that. You know
Well,
that
hello, Reality Check. How are you? Welcome, welcome, welcome.
it's you know, we don't want anything bad like that happening to anybody, and then it happens, and you're just like, damn. Especially when, you know, there was no motive for the attack. Like, I could understand, or it'd be more understandable if it were like this dude found out somebody was making out with his girlfriend, or found out his, if it had been provoked in some way, it'd been a little bit more understandable. But this attack just came out of the blue on this guy
For no reason.
for no reason. He just looked like somebody that was it was an opportunity for them to beat the crap out of someone.
I I don't have words. I really don't.
It's one of the reasons why, like, I am a big proponent of everybody learning to, or taking martial arts, training their body to get in shape and to be able to withstand violent attacks. Not because that will make you impervious to violence, but what winds up happening is, uh, this is going to sound bad, so please do not take anything I'm about to say personally on anybody. But one of the things is, if you look like a victim, your chances of becoming a victim skyrocket.
Yeah.
You stay aware of your surroundings. Like, one of the big things that contributes to people becoming victims is they're walking around looking at their phones. They're not paying attention to their surroundings. And then that's when opportunity attacks for attackers. But if you're in an area and you're constantly keeping aware of your surroundings, don't have your earbuds in, you're listening, well, when you hear that person sneaking up behind you, you know, you can either run away, and running away is actually sometimes the best option you have for self-defense, because you can run into an area where there will be a lot of witnesses, and that will automatically make it less likely you'll be attacked, because then it's, you know, there too many people can see it. And also, if you run into, like in the Nashville area, if you run in like Broadway where the cops are, they're definitely not going to attack you in front of the police. The other thing is too, we oftentimes don't acknowledge that our gut instinct is sometimes warning us about something, and sometimes we need to pay attention to it and bail on a situation. So if your gut is telling you, hey, this is you're getting a bad feeling about something or someone, that's usually your body and your mind telling you, get out. And
Exactly.
we need to pay attention to that. And also, and I hate to say this because I have a big heart for the homeless people, but the homeless population in Nashville over the last few years have gotten very aggressive. They One of the things that they've done in Nashville, like, because, you know, occasionally I'll drive Lyft on the weekends to make extra money to pay off my debts faster and try to get debt free. which I highly recommend everybody um, doing this. I had passengers in the car, and I had this one homeless guy waving at me, wanting me to roll my window down so he could ask whatever question. I'm like, dude, I've got passengers, and they're all females. They're all women. I'm like, I've got passengers in the car. No, you're staying over there. Another time, I had a guy ask me for money. I literally had no cash on me. I had zero money, and it was also at a time where I really needed to watch my finances, so I really had nothing to spare. And the guy got infuriated at me for not giving him money because somehow he felt entitled to the money that I didn't have in my pocket. And the next day, when my brother was in town, one of my friends was playing downtown. My brother and his wife, my brother's wife, and two kids went to some event that they were here for. So my brother and I, we got to hang out a little bit. And one of the things that we saw, that same guy that I saw the night before, and he just looked at me and he said something to me underneath his breath. And my brother looked at me laughing. He was like, dude, what did you do to piss that guy off? And that's just like one encounter that people have had. Another one, they don't even care if people see them doing something. When my mom and stepdad came up for the Alabama concert, there was a homeless lady sitting on the side of a building masturbating in public.
What?
Dude, I mean, it was, my mom was like, man, I can't believe that man was doing, because it was kind of like androgynous. And I was like, Mom, that was a woman doing that, because a guy does not put his hand in that position to get off. And it was. I mean, it was that woman was focused, laser focused, and really going at it. Oh, it was bad. And I'm like, they're like, can we get the cops to do it? I was like, the cops aren't going to do anything about it. They're really not. With all of these people here, they're not going to do jack squat. True. So, yeah, and it's just kind of like unless they get some of their fluids on someone else, there's realistically nothing they're going to do, because then at that point it would become assault. Right.
I don't even have words to that has to be traumatizing in a way.
Well, there were little kids walking by who saw it.
Well, right. I'm not making light of the situation. Yeah.
I know you're not. I know you're not. I mean, I'm helping you hammer in the idea of how bad it really was, because this was in broad daylight. It was around maybe 5:30 or 6, I think. Not even, it actually may have been earlier, 4:30. So there were still families in that section of town, and little kids were walking by seeing that. My stepdad and I saw it first, and we were like, we both, like, we had that guy, like, psychic link up that happens where it was like, don't mention it. Maybe my mom won't see it. And then we hear my mom go, oh my gosh. And we were like, she saw it. And for the audience to understand, my mom is like the super sweet, super innocent woman. But she's also a nurse. So like if my mom had been, a hippie and had more of a colorful past growing up, she would not have had that reaction. But she had always kind of.
So you're saying that she would have been less offended?
Yes. Okay,
I'll give it to you.
Yeah, because I think she would have been making more of a joke about it. My stepdad and I were definitely making jokes about it.
Well, knowing you as long as I have, of that I have no doubt.
Yeah, I texted my brother, and immediately the jokes just started coming. I was like, because I was like, humor for me is a coping mechanism.
Sterno says your mom had a heated gamer moment.
Whatever that means.
Basically, that just means like you have gamer rage, like basically, like, or not rage, but like you're pissed off at the situation, basically. If I'm defining that correctly, I guess. I don't fucking know. But anyway, um oh yeah, I can I mean I've had similar situations like that, like them, um like having a homeless person come up to you and you clearly you don't have the funds on you, and then like they'll just start like bad mouthing you because you can't give them anything. um I was in Memphis one night. I went to see Hatebreed, and I was walking back to where my ride was, and I got hit up for money, and I didn't have it, and like, it was two of them, and so they got like really irritated, and I thought they were gonna start coming at me, and about three or four more people come walking up. So, um,
Yeah, it's no joke, man. Like it's one of the reasons why, honestly, I've stopped giving money to homeless people.
I mean, it's not that you don't want to. I mean, it's just some. I mean, not everyone is always in a position to where they can. Is the point? Um. So what else has been going on with you, man? Have you had any crazy adventures lately you care to share with us?
Um, let's see. Well, they did have a last time I was in our hometown for my niece's birthday party.
Yeah, you were just back there, what, like a couple of weeks ago, right?
Yeah, a few weeks ago. Yeah, yeah, 2 weeks ago, man. Um,
Okay.
we were my brother and I were sitting on the couch next to each other. All the other adults are in the room. All the kids are outside. My brother gets this text from one of our friends, and he's like, "No way, dude!" And we go, "What happened?" Again, this is not my personal adventure. This is an adventure that happened to someone else. But our friend said in a text message, when you're on vacation with your in-laws, with your family and your in-laws, make sure when you and your wife go to make love, the baby monitor is not in the same room or is at least turned off.
Oh God, yeah, you told me this one.
And he said, and we were like, what? And then and we started laughing. And my brother was like, so your in-laws heard you have sex. And he goes, well, it's also a video monitor too. And so,
Oh my
and so we were laughing about it. And I think it makes this even funnier is what happened at the wedding, at their wedding several years ago. The My brother told one of the groomsmen was going to write, getting some tonight. And my brother's like, no, no, you should write a hard man is good to find. Well, the dude mixed up the two phrases in the most spectacular way possible and wrote a hard man tonight on the back of the windshield. Bride's father came out and saw it, and dude just like starts having this meltdown there. He's like pacing back and forth, rubbing his head, like what little hair he may have had on his head. I'm certain he rubbed it off. I was just like, oh my gosh. He's like freaking out and panicking. Bride and groom came out there, saw it, and they died out laughing.
God. I don't really know how to respond to some of the people you know. I really have no I really have no way of doing it. Um oh man.
Yeah.
um Go ahead.
Yeah, see that was probably the funniest recent thing, and I'm also dog sitting for a friend this weekend, and she's a little puppy and every bit a puppy. Um, she has jumped in on meetings that I've had, demanding to be put on camera, and when I'm not paying attention to her because I'm actually doing work, she starts going ballistic. So I
How
have.
how did you get roped into dog sitting?
Well, last weekend I received that bad news, and I had a hard time not thinking about it. and they needed someone to watch their dog. I was like, I'll do it for free. I need something to distract me. And they said, okay, cool.
Well,
Oh, I
it's
like
good.
her dog.
Well,
She's cute.
it's good you're helping someone out. I mean, I'm sure not everyone would have done that.
Dude, okay, so she is hilarious too. She's also devilishly smart. So I have slippers I wear. Um, and because, I have hardwood floors. So
Right.
it gets pretty cold here. And it's like everything above the ankles is fine, but my feet can get pretty cold. So I'll have these slippers. This little sneaky turd stole one of my house shoes, ran off with it, and so I got it to chase her to get my shoe back. She dropped it about halfway to the door, got to the door, and just waited and looked at me like, "Well, now that we're here, are you going to take me out?" I was like, "I just brought you from outside 5 minutes ago."
It doesn't matter. That does not matter. You have to realize that. Like I had to learn that just through the natural course of time with I mean of course I have cats, but at the same time um it's like I always say I don't live I this apartment isn't mine, it's theirs. I live in their apartment. I'm just the one that works and pays the bills. And I'm pretty much like at their beck and call. um I'll be I'll be asleep and Fiona will literally come and walk on me and lay down on my shoulder until I wake up. And I'll just look over my shoulder and she'll just stare at me like, "Well, are you going to get up and feed me or it's treat time?" Or sometimes it's just, "No, I just wanted you to look at me." And then she'll get up and leave. So so yeah, I mean, don't even get me started on that shit. um so one thing that you and I were talking about earlier that I really am just so confused by. Now, one thing that really kind of bothers me, and I'm not really huge into reading the news because it's basically SSDD. It's same shit, different day. Um, but one thing that really kind of just irritates me is when now if it's a situation like, let's take the whole R. Kelly thing. I mean that's a terrible situation. It really, I mean it's terrifying. And if you haven't, you should watch that. It's a docu series on Netflix, The Surviving R. Kelly. That
Yeah,
was
I've
that.
tried. It's rough. It's
It
rough.
is rough. It is rough. I mean, I made myself sit through a lot of it. But it was interesting though. It was definitely interesting to watch. Um, but everyone thinking that they need to stick their nose and voice their opinion on this whole Britney Spears thing. Why does this matter so much when everyone has known for years that all this was going on? Okay, she's older, and but you know what? That's not really anyone else's business. Um,
Well, it actually is because there are some intricate details that are going on in this. Uh, uh, so what happens is you're dealing with something as a mental health issue for one. Britney Spears' mental health issues, but then there are two types of conservatorships going on with her. You have one that's conservatorship over her, then another one that's like a conservatorship over her assets. And the one over her, like, she has no body autonomy. Her dad did not want to give that up because he would lose control over his daughter. But she could also get married, and he forced her to have an IUD, which prevented pregnancy. She has a boyfriend, and they wanted to get married and possibly try for a kid between themselves. And so basically, she was allowed to go out and make a ton of money for everybody else in her life, these people in her life that were leeching off of it, but yet she wasn't able to accessing. And a lot of people who are Britney Spears fans have been saying this stuff for over 10 years. And so with the Britney Spears case, you're getting into the issue of conservatorships. You're getting into the issues of basically what amounts to slavery in that case. And so, she had no body autonomy. She had no choice but to get the IUD. She had no say so in the matter. In that matter. And when she had her, and this all stems from her meltdown that she had in 2007, I think. And realistically, I remember my thoughts when she had that meltdown because they were really pushing her. I remember the paparazzi. I was just like, man, they just need to leave that girl alone. And she finally got pissed off enough. She shaved her head and then attacked a van, one of their vehicles, with an umbrella. And the entire time I'm going, that's not to me showing someone who is dealing with a mental health issue right there. I mean, they pushed her. They pushed and pushed and pushed, and she'd been telling them to leave her alone. And she finally, snapped and fought back. I'm going, which one of us who, if we had been put under that much pressure she had been put under, because you got to remember, this had been going on since she was 16, so close to 10 years at that point. And it was from the moment she hit the scene, they were asking her about her sexuality, if she was still a virgin. Did she lose her virginity to Justin Timberlake? All of these questions that, as a teenager is embarrassing for you anyway. But it's even more so embarrassing for a teen girl that is at the top of the charts and at the pinnacle of fame at that point. And she didn't really have much of a way to retreat from the public eye, and it was no matter where she went, they were there. And that's why when the South Park episode came out, where they were showing her she had tried to blow her head off or something in that, and then it was just the jaw down. It was making all these noises. People think they were making fun of her, and they really weren't. If you go watch the episode, what they were making fun of is how society treats those celebrities. And at that time, if you remember, Britney Spears had some legit other issues, and she needed to retreat, but nobody was letting her retreat. Everybody was just following her wherever she went. Hold on, this dog is going crazy. But I mean, I hope does that answer some of the question?
Yeah, it does. I mean, honestly, the public getting involved in it is what I don't understand. I mean, yes, support artists that you like, clearly, but I mean, if this is a private matter that she's, I mean,
well, if the public didn't get involved, none of this would have come forward. The abuses that were going on, and you got to think about it. There are other people that are just like Britney Spears in her situation who do not have the megaphone that she did, and that all of this this brought the attention to. And so what winds up happening is that this actually helps highlight a bigger problem going on, and it helps put the spotlight on people who are like her, who need the same attention given to them and to their situations.
Well, I'm of the mind that, I don't know. That's why I don't really have an opinion on the whole situation, other than the fact that I don't understand people getting so enwrapped in things like this. And I'm not, like I said, I'm not really a news person. So I used to be, but if I'm gonna watch something, I'll listen to I'll watch Stephen Colbert, Jon Stewart, stuff like that. Which I really enjoy. Jon Stewart. Jon Stewart's a hell of a guy. Did you see where he went to? I think it was before a congressional committee to fight for the 9/11 fund.
Yeah, for the first responders.
For the first responders, yeah,
Yeah.
dude, that right there, that got me because I'm just like, that's fucking awesome.
Yeah, because the firefighters in New York, that was like that day they lost more firefighters in that day than I'm willing to bet that they've lost.
In decades,
Yeah, well, combined like their
yeah.
entire existence.
Well, here's some when when I did DirecTV tech support, I got a phone call one day, and of course, I think you did that job briefly.
No, I didn't.
Oh, you didn't? Okay. Well, anyway, if anyone in the audience or listening later, if you've worked in a call center, you usually know how the account system works. Phone rings and it pulls it up right there in front of you. Well, it said New York City Fire Department. And usually, how this system worked was the accounts were labeled to tell you if they were like a commercial account or a residential account, but this one had no markings. And so I wasn't quite sure if it was not really, obviously, it would be like, through the city and all of that stuff. So I'm trying to figure this out. Well, it was the captain that called in, and he and I got to talking, and I mentioned, that, my papa, my mom's dad was a firefighter and he had passed, and that my dad was one. And we got to talking about that a little bit. And I asked him, I was, very respectful to him and everything. And I said, sir, can I ask you something? And he said, absolutely. And I said, how many did you lose that day? And he stopped for a minute, and I thought he was going to tell me, he didn't want to answer. He said, I think if I remember correctly, they lost 3 or 4 that day.
Oh man.
And I told him, I told him, from the bottom of my heart, gave him my condolences for losing his brothers. Because that's one thing, like, cops are real close and everything, but if you want to see, you won't find a tighter group of brotherhood than you will in a fire station. It's like my dad used to tell me that, firefighters are the craziest people on the planet because they're running into a burning building while everybody else is running out.
Yeah.
But you won't find a tighter brotherhood than you will in a fire station. And I can vouch for that personally because I grew up around guys like that. And when my dad was going out to fires and everything like that before he had some health issues and they made him the in-house dispatcher, they were all watching each other's backs. It didn't matter what you were fucking doing. If you were working on the rig or if you were going inside, everybody was watching each other's backs. And my dad loved all of those guys. He spoke very fondly of them. And when one of them would pass away, everybody would show up, every single one of them. And that's how tight they were. And so he and I talked for a little while longer. And this is when my dad was in the nursing home. And before he got off the phone with me, he said, I want you to do a favor for me. And I said, okay. He said, I've never served with your dad, but he is in fact our brother. And he said, if you will, send some love from his brothers up here at the FDNY and you tell him we love him. And I said, absolutely, I will. And I went to see my dad the next day and I told him. And as soon as I told him that, just the biggest smile came across his face. That absolutely just made his day to hear that brothers he had never met before that were firefighters, just like he was, loved him enough to send him their best wishes. So I thought that was pretty cool, But I mean, seeing something like that, and then also belonging to a fraternity myself, I understand that. That's another reason why I respect it so much is because I understand what it's like. But but going back to what I was saying, like, I would rather listen to guys like Jon Stewart or Stephen Colbert. And yes, they're funny, and yes, they can, make the information they're giving you in a comical manner. But when they actually get down to the nitty gritty and they have a serious moment, you can you can listen to them, and it's not going to be they're not going to sugarcoat it for you. I
Yeah.
mean, yeah, well, I mean, they will for standards and practice for whatever channel they may be on, but they're still going to give it to you straight. Whereas you watch anything else and fucking, it's all corporate bullshit. It's just regurgitated in a different way every day.
Yeah, it's one of the things I do have to say that I think Jon Stewart's a little bit more fair than Stephen Colbert is because like the late night show hosts are to me their political leanings are very apparent and even John Oliver, while I find him to be absolutely hysterical, there are a lot of things that I've seen him do where I'm just like that's not the full story, and so like I have to. Oh, it just seemed like with Jon Stewart because Jon Stewart was actually called out for when because he was good friends with Anthony Weiner, and if you remember the Weiner scandal, which is appropriate because he was actually sending pictures of his junk to women, underage women. He he people called him out for it because those two had been roommates,
Yeah.
and he then just started ripping on them and making jokes. He was like, you know what, these people are right, and then he. But then the other thing too is like when Mel Gibson had his meltdown and all of this other stuff that happened that people are like, oh my gosh, this guy is saying some stuff uh, that was pretty anti-Semitic. Um, he pointed out how the media reported on it and how they just really tried to make the reader even more biased against Mel Gibson than anything else because they started they the only clips from movies they showed were the ones where he was either acting crazy or in the moments where he had the craziest, most intense moments, like some of the moments from Braveheart, some of the
Yeah.
moments from The Patriot, and or Mad Max, and Jon Stewart, like his commentary on that had me in tears. I was laughing so hard at it because I felt like he did that story justice. You know, he was calling everybody out because he was saying, "Look, we're not making excuses for what Mel Gibson did or said." He said, "But what we are pointing out is, you know, there's enough here in the story, y'all can call him out for his bad behavior without actually, um, without actually making him seem worse than he really is."
Right. I and I can understand that. I think a lot of people. I think one thing I think a lot of people have a problem with that don't really like Jon Stewart, Stephen Colbert, things like that, is they think they're making light of the situations when they're actually not.
Well, again,
Um,
it's for a lot of us, it's a coping mechanism.
exactly. Laughter is the best medicine, as they say. Um,
And let's be honest, like a lot of those stories, there are funny elements in it that you're going, how come no one is pointing this out?
oh yeah, kind of like what was her that blonde woman who sat in front of that committee with Rudy Giuliani, and she had to clearly be drunk or something.
Oh
Um,
yeah, or when Giuliani farted in one of the in one of the uh, meetings that they had, like a congressional hearing or something, and he farted, and you see the woman's face, like clearly, like, did he even know he farted? I mean,
or maybe it was actually her, and she just, she just blamed it on him.
yeah, he is at that age where that is believable. He can do that. No, but on the video, you can clearly see him move, and then you hear a brrr.
It's just like he had a Robert Tilton moment. He had a farting preacher moment.
Oh,
um, I still did you ever watch that documentary about him that I sent to you?
which one? Robert
The
Tilton.
Gospel of Greed.
Oh yeah, I started watching it and then got distracted. Never completed it.
How far did you get?
I don't remember. That's how long it's been.
Because I mean, like I said, it's at least it's a 4-part series, and altogether it's at least 8 to 8.5 hours long, maybe 9. It could be anywhere between 8, 9, maybe 10 hours total. Because I know 3 volumes of it are just shy over 2 hours long, and one of them is almost 2 hours long. Did you ever watch the Zeitgeist documentaries?
Yeah, I found a lot of that to be just bullshit. To be honest with you.
I found the first part of it rather fascinating. Um,
Well, a lot of the stuff where they like where they start talking about Christianity, it's like they they want to say that Jesus didn't exist or anything like that. That is utter bullshit
well, no,
because
they're not saying that he didn't exist. They're just saying that the story and everything of how he arrived, as it were,
well, it
falls into the same story that's
well,
told through
well,
every
but
major religion
no,
throughout the world.
and that's where they're wrong though. That's where they're wrong because it doesn't fit that same narrative. It's because like in Egyptian, the Egyptians had no concept of virginity, and there's evidence that a lot of the stuff
But
that they incorporated from those religions.
right, but no, that's not what I'm getting at, because you're going into Egypt and you're getting into the story of Ra, or Horus, which the conception of Horus was done a completely separate method. It has nothing to do with an actual virgin birth. But the actual, if as far as the calculations and everything go for it, everything pretty much lines up. The signs were all still there as well. The star, the date, everything like that. That's what they're getting at. But what they're not, I mean, basically, uh, they're not saying that it occurred through the same way. Basically, it boils down to Osiris and Isis being in love with each other. Typhon, Osiris's brother, was jealous, had his brother Osiris killed, severed his body into multiple pieces, and scattered them throughout the world. Well, Isis sent travelers out to recover all the pieces. The only thing that was missing was the phallus, which she found floating in the River Nile.
Well,
And
no, they made a golden phallus and put it on him, so it was a golden dick.
uh, you were too much, man. You were too much. But no, I found it very interesting, especially part one. That's what
Yeah.
really
Well,
that's what
even
really
there,
floated. That's what really floated my proverbial philosophical boat, as it
yeah,
were.
there's something it's been a while since I saw it, but I was like, knowing what I know about church history and religions, I was going, okay, this is where they're wrong. This is where they're wrong. This is where they're wrong. And um, yeah, I was like, the Zeitgeist documentaries are bullshit. The facts that they present don't even check out.
Well, no, like the whole you and I okay. Uh, what I've been consider you and I've told you about this. I've been considering setting up like a Patreon kind of thing. And I'm still really considering that. We would have to work out kind of what kind of content we would want and if anyone would actually be interested in it. But I think one thing that we should definitely do is you and I, um, we do a show one night for it where we're watching it at the same time or somehow, and we actually discuss part one of that. I think that would be fairly interesting, and I would actually see if Danny would join us. that would be a really interesting
I don't
discussion.
know. I don't feel like watching it again, to be honest with you.
You're a dick.
What? I'm a
uh,
dick because I don't want to watch something that I know is wrong.
I'm just being a smart ass. Just quit being so damn serious. um, hang on just a second here. Let's see. Wanderer's hanging out with some of his buddies. He was just sending me a picture. Uh, well, well, guys, I think we're gonna make this a short one this week. I have a ball game that I would like to sit and listen to, and keep my fingers crossed that victory is imminent for my boys at Ole Miss today. So we do appreciate everyone showing up in the chat. Reality Check, thank you so much for stopping by, and we would love to have you on the show sometime to come and talk to us. Normally we go for 2 hours, but we're a little Doc and I decided we are just gonna make this a little light day. And we can, kind of chill out and everything like that. Once again, if you haven't already, go ahead and like the stream. Really helps us out. Hit that subscribe button. Get the notification bell on. And once again, as I said about next week, I will have to get up with Splicer, Wanderer, and Doc, and we will have to figure something out. We will definitely be doing a show one day next week. If it's going to be an evening show, I will see. Maybe it may end up just be me and Splicer. I don't know, but we will get the details worked out. I will update everyone in the Discord as soon as we can kind of get a feel for how the change is going to occur. So just be watching the Discord and get all the details there. So we will see you next week. I will announce everything in the Discord of what day that will be. Possibly Thursday, maybe Friday. I don't know. I'll have to get up with everyone. Do what?
Dog just bit my nose, this little bitch.
Well, all right, everyone. We will see you. We will see you next week, and once again, I will keep everyone updated. So be watching for that. But we will, in fact, see you next week. But until then, my friends, as always, peace be with you.